In this episode, we talk about green tea, Mountain Dew, how many days a week is optimal for you to train, and how I am doing not drinking any alcohol. Hello everybody, welcome to Equals and Alternatives episode 89 or 90, I'm not quite sure. It is Wednesday. My apartment is not clean. I have a buddy of mine in town for a few days, and so it's actually a complete disaster. A lot of clothes here. I see some Gold Bond back there, headphones. This is actually gum that has both caffeine and some kind of nootropic, like an amino acid that promotes memory and cognitive functions. 12 pieces. It's called NeuroGum. I had a piece. Placebo is on point. I felt really good. But anyway, yeah, it's Wednesday. We're back. Today we are reviewing SoBe green tea, which, if you look at the nutrition label, you will see is primarily carbs and sugar and is the same as pop, but you throw green tea on something and I think it has the connotation that it is healthier. Not only that, but I always thought that SoBe was a little bit healthier. I don't know if that's just because it was something my parents bought from time to time when I was younger, or why I associated it with not being as bad as pop, but it is. What else? I feel like I have a lot to catch you guys up on. I am almost 30 days into my year of no drinking, which really hasn't been that bad. Like, I started it 2 weeks in, right? So really, since I made the decision that I'm not going to be drinking, it's been 2 weeks. There was a friend of mine who had a wedding back in Minnesota. I was back there over Labor Day, and it wasn't really tempting, although I definitely scheduled the entire experience differently than I would have, right? Like, there's cocktail hour, open bar, like free beer, wine, lots of single pretty girls, and like lots of friends I hadn't seen in a while. So had I gone into it like any previous wedding I have attended in the last 5 years of my life, I would have booked a hotel. I didn't book a hotel. I would have stayed later than I did. Instead, I skipped out probably 9 o'clock, after dinner, speeches, first dance, all like fun stuff, and everyone starts dancing. I made plans to go see a couple of my very good friends who I got to sneak in, 2 hours of hanging out with since I was in town. So yeah, it definitely changed my behavior, but wasn't tempting. Anyway. It's still too early to pick up whether or not I'm having increased productivity or output, or like better, like if I'm smarter, if I'm putting out better content. I don't really know. We'll see. Time will tell. But yeah, like Mountain Dew, I think it's like a can and a half of Mountain Dew equals a 20-ounce bottle of this green tea SoBe, which basically means that per ounce, they're very close, right? They're both calorie-dense sugar drinks. Like, we're not going to... Most people shouldn't be incorporating these things in their fat loss regimens. They're not going to help you stay full for very long. I would rather you get something with some micronutrients in it, or something you really, really enjoy. It's kind of a no-brainer. If you're new to this show and you're very confused, usually I have these products and we talk about why neither are very good for you and why it would be better instead to either make them fit your macros or have this magical alternative that I also don't have. Green tea, like, super obvious, 0 calories, a little bit of caffeine, but not nearly as much caffeine as something like coffee or an energy drink. So if you want some caffeine, if you want the feeling like you're drinking something while being productive, or if you just want something to help hold off appetite that isn't really going to impact your sleep too badly, if you have a medium Starbucks coffee, 300 milligrams of caffeine to fight off that 4 o'clock craving in the afternoon, that's probably going to impact your sleep schedule. Caffeine has a half-life of somewhere between 5 and 7 hours. It's like that caffeine is very much still in your system. Whereas if you have green tea at that time, you're going to be in much better shape to go to sleep, having only, 40 grams of caffeine. It's much, much less. 40 milligrams of caffeine, excuse me, not 40 grams. We're not talking about toxicity, death. Yeah, so green tea. Question of the day. Something I am asked a lot is about training splits. And this specific question, I don't have it, I should, but I remember it very well. It was, this guy says that you should do 3 times a week, and that is how you build muscle, that is how you lose fat, that is the best way to go. This guy says that you should train 5 times a week. His programs have you training 5 times a week, and like that is how you build muscle, lose fat, that is the way to go. That is what he did to get his great physique, that is the way this guy did it to get his physique. Which is right? Like, they can't both be right, can they? Because this guy is saying you can't do that, and this guy is saying you can't do that. I don't know if they're actually saying that, but both are saying that their programming is better than the other. What do you think, Mike? And many know that I'm currently following Greg Gallagher's Greek God programming, which is 3 times a week for muscle gain. I don't think that any specific training frequency, meaning the number of days per week you train, is better or worse than any other, all else equal. There are too many individual components here that dictate what is going to be best for you. It comes down to what you prefer, right? Like, if you are training maxes and training with super high intensity 7 days a week and not giving your central nervous system a break, yeah, that's dumb. Pare it down a little bit. And if you want to be training 1 or 2 days a week and that's it, you're probably leaving gains on the table, or leaving retained muscle mass on the table, or strength on the table. You're leaving progress on the table by training that infrequently. But if you're training 3 days a week, 4 days a week, 5 days a week, I would do whichever you prefer. I'm trying to think of other relevant factors. Total time you have to be training. Like, if you only have, in like the way your schedule works out, 30 or 40 minutes to do a workout, probably want to increase frequency, because when you factor in a decent warm-up and really getting intense focus sets in 3 times a week at 35-minute sessions, I think you would benefit from training more frequently. Personally, right now, my warm-up is the dumbest thing I've ever, like, my warm-up is literally 20 minutes. I'm doing all this external shoulder stuff. I'm doing tons of thoracic spine mobility exercises, cat-cows, rotating thoracic stuff, just to really warm up my upper back, because I'm so scared of getting hurt. Not scared of, I just hate getting hurt. It annoys me so much. So my sessions end up being an hour and a half, 3 days a week. I don't want to train 5 days a week at an hour and a half. That's too much of my time. That's just like something that I am not interested in. The short answer to all of this is I don't think one is much better than the other. Which leads me to something else. A lot of people ask why I don't have a product, why I don't sell a $97 or an $87 or $77 workout book. And the reason I haven't made one yet is because I don't think that one training style is better than the other. I know that I could design a program that I think is good, that's 5 days a week or 3 days a week, and will help people build strength, lose fat, whatever it is. I know that I could do that, but because I think there are so many things that work, and because there are so many other factors that are more important than just, this is my program and this is the one I say works, I don't want to be selling that. Now, I could make multiple programs that do different things and explain, hey, if you are going after this goal, this program makes more sense. If you're going after this goal, this program makes more sense. If you have more time, less time, whatever the factors, those factors are, recommend which program a person should follow, but it's just not something I've gotten into yet. I think there's so many things that are more, like, I think that if you are emotionally bought in and ready to follow a program, regardless of what, as long as it's decent, right? Multiple compound moves, like you're not training chest 7 days a week and never training legs. If it's decent programming, your ability to work really, really hard at the programming, keep your nutrition in check, and getting a decent amount of sleep, not being overly stressed out, you're going to see results whether it's 3 times a week, 4 times a week, 5 times a week. There are other factors that are much more important than the minutia of the programming. So that's it. Whichever you prefer. All right, good episode. It's hot. I had to turn my AC off to get rid of the background noise, and it's already getting hot in here. Okay. That's how we end the show, right? It's been like 5 days since I shot. There's no more question of the day. Episode 89 in the books. I hope you all have a wonderful Wednesday. Oh, I posted on the blog yesterday too, new macro app coming out soon. I have a version, beta testers, and we're done accepting new beta testers. I have plenty, and the early release people will be getting it in the next 7 to 10 days, I would imagine, and then we're looking at an early October release. Oh, and let's link up and link down in the description the video if you want to hear why I'm creating another macro app, because aren't there already like 67,000 of them? 4-minute video right there. All right, bye. Remember, your body is still counting macros